Hello, my wonderful and beautiful friends. Welcome back to our Malicious Compliance series, where people follow orders to the letter, often to the dismay of those giving them. In today's episode, we have a silent but deadly compliance, a chaotic railway incident, an unforeseen computer wipeout, a satisfying account deletion right in front of an enemy, and a genius move to outshine a lazy coworker. Each one is a lesson they won't forget. I hope you enjoy today's stories. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. And as always, feel free to submit or link your own posts to this email right here. Now, let's dive in. Story 1, hilarious, shut up and do exactly as told. Alright then. First up, we're heading to r/malicious compliance, the subreddit where following orders can sometimes be the sweetest revenge. This time, OP shares a workplace drama so satisfying that I couldn't help but scream, "Oh, you really did this to yourself." Our protagonist is OP, a retail worker in a small store, the kind with shelves packed to the brim, an old-school cash register that dings, and the lingering scent of cheap shampoo in the air. OP writes, "I'd been working here for 6 months, easy job, mostly nice customers, until S showed up. Enter S, the new manager. OP describes him as tall, hair slicked back with way too much gel, wearing a blinding red tie like a traffic light, and constantly barking orders. OP says, within his first week, he changed the schedule, rearranged the shelves, and yelled at anyone who dared to ask questions. OP just wanted to get paid in peace, but S made a crucial mistake. He gave an order that OP turned into the ultimate malicious compliance. This story had me crying with laughter. Are you ready? Because S is about to shoot himself in the foot in the most spectacular way. It all started on a busy afternoon. OP was in the back, counting inventory, stacks of body wash boxes piled high, when the store radio crackled to life. OP, get to the front now. Move it. OP rushed out to find a long line of customers and S standing there, hands on his hips like a general. What took you so long? Work faster. OP explained, I was doing the inventory you assigned me this morning. S cut them off, face turning red, you talk too much. Shut up and just do what I say. OP writes, I stood there, watching him scream in the middle of the store, and thought, alright then, you want silence? You'll get silence. And at that moment, S had unknowingly dug his own grave. From that moment on, OP did not say another word, just as S had ordered. A customer asked, where's the shampoo? OP silently pointed to aisle 3. S shouted, restock aisle 5, now. OP nodded, did it, and then stood motionless like a statue. S stormed over, furious, why didn't you tell me when you finished? OP just shrugged. You told me to shut up. A customer asked if an item was on sale. OP simply pointed at the price sign. The customer muttered, is this guy mute or something, before walking away. And I was losing it. OP, your silent compliance is brutal. Then came the ultimate meltdown. It was the weekend, the store was packed, and S screamed over the radio. Op, call for backup at the register. Now. OP nodded, but didn't call anyone. Silent mode on. Customers grew impatient, lines stretched long, people started complaining. S stormed out, face redder than his tie, why didn't you call for help? OP, with a completely calm face. You told me to shut up and do exactly as you said. The entire checkout area erupted into laughter. A random old man even chimed in. Well, boss, if you tell him to shut up, you gotta live with it. And at this point, I was practically cheering, you really played yourself. Finally, S dragged OP to the back room, looking defeated. For the love of God, stop being silent. Just work normally, okay? I'm exhausted. OP nodded and smirked, sure thing, boss. From then on, S stopped giving stupid orders, and OP became a workplace legend, earning the nickname the Silent King. One day, S tried again. Clean the stockroom. OP nodded. S immediately added, and tell me when you're done. And I was just clapping. S finally learned his lesson. OP won without saying a single extra word. The comment section went wild. Team OP, S got exactly what he asked for. OP played it perfectly. Team S, okay, but OP took it a little too far. Sometimes you gotta communicate, man. Trolls, next time, OP should pretend to be completely mute and let S struggle alone. And honestly, I fully support OP. S made a dumb order, and OP followed it to perfection. But let's theorize, do you think S expected OP to actually stay silent? Maybe he's used to employees arguing back, and he just wanted to assert dominance. Or maybe he wanted to look powerful in front of customers, but OP's silence made him look like a fool instead. Either way, OP's strategy was genius, proving that sometimes, silence is the deadliest weapon. A few weeks later, OP updated the story. S messaged in the work chat, "Dude, please talk, I'm tired." Op? He just sent a laughing emoji. And a coworker texted privately, "Bro, S is legit scared of you now." And I'm just like, good. Maybe next time, he'll think before barking stupid orders. What do you think? Was OP a malicious genius, or do you feel bad for S? Have you ever pulled off a silent revenge like this? That was one of the most satisfying malicious compliance stories I've read. Who do you side with, OP or S? Got your own workplace drama to share? Drop a comment. Story 2, Drama, Malicious Compliance on the Railway. Next, we return to our /malicious compliance, where following the rules too precisely can sometimes make an entire system cry. This time, OP shares a railway drama that had me screaming, is this company truly this stupid, or are they just pretending? OP is a dispatcher at a railway company. Picture long freight trains stretching for miles, deafening whistles, and stacks of paperwork piling up on desks. OP writes, "I've been working here for 3 years, making sure trains run on time, but my boss has turned everything into a nightmare." The main antagonist of this drama isn't just one person, it's the entire railway company, with rigid procedures and rules that OP describes as written by someone who's never seen a real train. OP explains, the company has a rule, every change must be approved by higher-ups, and we are forbidden from making any independent decisions, no matter how small. OP just wants to keep operations smooth, but one day, the company's stubbornness pushes OP into a malicious compliance move so satisfying, it sent chills down my spine. This is a story of trains and chaos, are you ready? Brace yourself, because OP is about to make the whole company pay. The drama begins on a stormy day at the rail yard. OP explains, I was coordinating a freight train, 50 cars full of steel, when I noticed that one car had faulty brakes, making it unsafe to operate. OP radios their boss, B, this train needs repairs. Should I remove the damaged car? Boss B snaps, no. You're not authorized to do that. Follow the procedure and submit a report to the higher-ups. OP writes, it was pouring rain, the train was scheduled to leave in 2 hours, but B insisted on waiting. OP warns, if we don't remove it, the train won't be safe. B shouts, I already told you. Follow the procedure, no independent decisions. At this point, I wanted to yell, B, do you care about safety or just your precious procedures? Pick one. The drama escalates when OP complies maliciously. OP writes, I nodded over the radio. Alright, I'll follow the procedure. I then wrote a highly detailed report, 5 full pages describing every single bolt on that faulty train car, and submitted it to upper management via email, fax, and even a physical copy through internal mail. OP continues, meanwhile, I sat in the control room watching the train remain completely still in the rain, because I was just following the procedure. 2 hours passed, but nobody approved the request. The train was delayed, customers were furious, and phones rang off the hook. Boss B calls back, why hasn't the train left yet? OP responds, I'm following the procedure. Waiting for approval. At this point, I was laughing so hard, OP, you're both evil and a genius. OP takes it to the next level, sending the entire company into a panic. OP writes, the next day, I continued, every minor issue, from a flickering light bulb to a slightly loose cable. I wrote extensive reports, each several pages long, and submitted them through every possible channel. OP explains, on Monday, a single burnout bulb? 3-page report. Tuesday, a slightly loose wire? 4-page report. Higher-ups were drowning in paperwork, and B stormed into my office. Why the hell are you filing so many reports? OP responds, deadpan, you told me to follow the procedure. I'm just doing as instructed. The company was now in complete disarray. Trains were delayed, customers lodged complaints, and senior management called an emergency meeting. Meanwhile, I was cheering, OP, you've turned bureaucracy into your weapon. The drama ends with a sweet victory. OP writes, by the end of the week, top management called me in, stop submitting unnecessary reports. From now on, you can handle minor issues on your own. OP smirks internally. I nodded, knowing I had one. OP continues, they changed the policy the very next week. Staff were now allowed to remove faulty train cars in urgent situations. B got reprimanded for causing system-wide delays, while I got praised for my exceptional compliance. And OP finishes triumphantly, seeing the trains run on time again felt amazing. I'm giving OP a round of applause. If the company insists on being stupid, let them suffer the consequences. OP won without even breaking a sweat. OP later updates, after this incident, my colleagues started calling me the report king, while B avoided me completely. Reddit's comment section exploded. Team OP, the company deserved this. If your procedures are stupid, suffer the consequences. OP, you're a legend. Team B, okay, but OP went too far. Just file fewer reports and keep the trains running. One user joked, next time, OP should write reports in poetry form just to make management suffer more. I was dying laughing, but I'm firmly Team OP. If the company wants to be rigid, let them drown in their own rules. OP only did exactly what was asked. Now, here's something to think about. Did B refuse to let OP remove the train car because he was afraid of losing control? Maybe he thought, I'm the boss, all decisions must go through me. Or was the company intentionally making things difficult to avoid liability? Either way, OP played this perfectly, using their own rules to defeat their nonsense. But I do wonder, if management had apologized earlier, would OP have stopped? Bonus update from OP, months later, B messaged me, can you please stop filing so many reports? I'm exhausted. OP simply replied, you can handle it yourself now. No worries. And B? He never messaged again. I'm sitting here thinking, B, if you're that tired, maybe don't be so stubborn next time. What do you think? Is OP a genius, or was B just unlucky? Have you ever used malicious compliance to make a point? So there you have it, OP's malicious compliance was both satisfying and brilliant. A rigid railway company ultimately collapsed under its own bureaucracy, all because one employee followed the rules too well. Who would have seen that coming? Are you Team OP or Team B? Got any workplace drama to share? Drop a comment, I'm dying to hear it. Story 3, Satisfaction Wipe the Computer? Sure, you didn't specify. Next up, we have a tale from r/malicious compliance, where vague instructions can turn into nightmares for the ones giving them. This time, OP shares a tech-related drama that made me want to scream, boss, just be clear with your words. OP is an IT employee at a small company, the kind of place with cluttered desks, old computers humming loudly, and the faint smell of burnt coffee lingering in the air. OP writes, I've been here for 2 years, fixing computers and dealing with the technical messes my coworkers create. The main character of this drama is OP's boss, Mr. T, whom OP describes as a guy in his 40s, always wearing faded dress shirts, giving orders but never explaining properly. OP continues, Mr. T is the type of boss who thinks he knows everything about IT but actually understands nothing. He always assigns tasks like, just do it, hurry up. OP only wanted a smooth workflow, but one vague command from Mr. T set the stage for some malicious compliance that had me laughing and applauding. This is a story of computers and silent revenge. Are you ready? Buckle up, because Mr. T is about to face the consequences of his own unclear instructions. One busy morning at the office, OP recalls, I was fixing the accountant's printer when Mr. T called me into his office. OP, my computer is too slow. Wipe it. OP asked for clarification. Wipe how? Delete files or reinstall the operating system? Mr. T snapped. Wipe is wipe. Just do it, I'm busy. OP writes, I stood there, watching him angrily pound his keyboard like he was swatting flies, and thought, alright, if you won't specify, I'll wipe it my way. One last time, OP asked, do you need to keep any data? Mr. T shouted, wipe everything. I already told you. At this point, I wanted to scream, Mr. T, be careful what you say, or you'll lose it all. OP followed orders to the letter. I went back to my desk, plugged in my bootable USB, and completely wiped Mr. T's computer, formatted the hard drive, erased the operating system, deleted all files, emails, reports, everything. Just as he asked. An hour later, chaos erupted. Mr. T called OP back, his face bright red. OP, where's my data? Where's my monthly report? OP responded coolly, you told me to wipe everything. I did exactly what you asked. Mr. T screamed, I needed that report. Why didn't you back it up? OP shrugged, you didn't tell me to back it up. You only said wipe everything. At this point, I was in stitches. OP, you're both ruthless and brilliant. Panic set in. Mr. T stormed into the IT department, demanding a recovery. I told him, it's completely wiped. There's nothing to recover. We'll have to reinstall everything from scratch. Mr. T slammed his fist on the desk, you did this on purpose. OP calmly replied, no, I followed your exact instructions, wipe everything. Mr. T stared at his empty screen in disbelief, mumbling, why didn't you ask me again? OP thought to himself, I did ask, but you yelled at me. Now you deal with it. Meanwhile, the office was buzzing. Coworkers whispered, the boss lost all his reports, and one even chuckled, serves him right for not being clear. At this point, I was completely satisfied. Mr. T, you brought this upon yourself. Mr. T had to report to upper management and got scolded for losing critical company data. In the end, OP was tasked with reinstalling the system. I took my time, 2 days, but management actually rewarded me for efficient handling. OP adds, after that, Mr. T gave much clearer instructions, wipe the computer, but back up my files first. I could just imagine OP smirking, you finally learned your lesson. Coworkers even gave Mr. T a new nickname, Boss Wipe. Every time someone mentioned it, the whole office burst out laughing. At this point, I was clapping, OP, you taught your boss a lesson without breaking a sweat. What do you think? Was this malicious compliance satisfying or overkill? OP updates, since then, Mr. T looks at me with a mix of fear and respect. And honestly, I'm happy with this small victory. Reddit exploded with comments. Team OP supporters cheered, Mr. T deserved it. If you don't give clear instructions, you suffer the consequences. OP did nothing wrong. Team Mr. T defenders argued, come on, OP should have backed up the data. Wiping everything was too extreme. Some even joked, next time, OP should wipe the entire office so Mr. T really learns his lesson. I laughed until I cried but firmly sided with OP, Mr. T, vague instructions have consequences. OP just followed orders. Here's something to think about, do you think Mr. T ever expected OP to actually wipe everything? Maybe he was used to giving vague orders and expected people to just know what he meant. Or maybe he was too confident, never realizing a simple wipe it all could turn into a disaster. Either way, I respect OP for using his boss's own words against him, smart and oh so satisfying. But I wonder, if Mr. T had apologized right away, would OP have helped him recover the data? One final update from OP, a few weeks later, Mr. T messaged me, be more careful with IT stuff. I lost face over this. I replied, Next time, be clear with your instructions. OP adds, after that, he never argued with me again, and my coworkers said Mr. T is now scared of me. At this point, I thought, good. Mr. T, be careful what you order next time. What do you think? Is OP a genius or is Mr. T the real victim? Have you ever done malicious compliance with your boss? A boss tells his IT guy to wipe his computer and ends up losing everything because he wasn't clear. Who could have seen that coming? Are you Team OP or Team Mr. T? Got a tech-related drama of your own? Drop a comment, I'm curious. Story 4, hilarious, delete the account in front of you? Sure. Next up, we're diving into our /malicious compliance, where an over-the-top demand for control can backfire spectacularly, leaving the one in charge completely speechless. This time, OP shares a workplace drama that had me screaming, "Boss, did you just set yourself up for failure?" OP works at a small marketing company, the kind with desks covered in paperwork, computer screens plastered with sticky notes, and stress-filled meetings with looming deadlines. OP writes, I had been working there for over a year, managing the company's social media. Everything was fine, until the new boss showed up. The star of this drama? OP's boss, Ms. M, described as around 35, always in tight office dresses, a total control freak, and someone who just doesn't trust anyone. OP recalls, the moment Ms. M arrived, she started micromanaging everything, from the captions I wrote to the way I named files. OP just wanted to do their job in peace, but one day, Ms. M's excessive need for control led to an act of malicious compliance so satisfying, I had to clap. This is a story of social media and sweet revenge. Are you ready? Buckle up, because Ms. M is about to walk straight into a disaster of her own making. She looked at me and said, OP, does your personal account have any connection to the company? I was confused. No, my personal account is just for my own stuff. It's not related to work at all. Ms. M narrowed her eyes. I don't believe you. Delete your personal account. Right now. In front of me. OP writes, I stood there, watching her cross her arms like some kind of queen on a throne, and thought, delete it in front of you? Oh, I'll delete it all right, but not the way you expect. At that moment, all I wanted to scream was, MSM, be careful what you say, or you're going to regret this. OP recalls, I pulled out my phone, opened my personal account, full of photos of food, vacations, and random stuff, and asked, are you sure? Ms. M nodded. Delete it. I'm watching. So, I went into settings and deleted the account. Ms. M smirked, satisfied. But here's the catch. That was my backup account, the one with just a few hundred followers, filled with throwaway posts. My main account, the one with over 5,000 followers and all my high-quality content, remained untouched. Ms. M checked my phone and smiled. Good. Now I can relax. OP writes, I nodded, secretly grinning. As long as you're at peace, Ms. M, that's all that matters. And I was cracking up inside. OP, you just played this so beautifully. OP continues, the next day, I posted another promotional ad using my main account, a weekend flash sale post. Ms. M saw it, turned red, and yelled, didn't I tell you to delete your account? I calmly replied, you told me to delete an account in front of you. I did. That was my other account. Ms. M's face twisted in shock. You had another account? I shrugged. You didn't ask. You just said to delete one, and I followed your exact instructions. OP writes, she froze, speechless. Meanwhile, my coworkers had overheard and were now dying laughing. One of them even joked, boss got played. Ms. M dragged me into her office. You did that on purpose, didn't you? I innocently replied, nope. I just did exactly what you told me to do. And me? I was sitting there, enjoying every second. Ms. M, you wanted control, but you played yourself instead. OP writes, Ms. M went to complain to upper management, but my senior boss just laughed and said, you weren't clear in your instructions. OP didn't do anything wrong. Ms. M got scolded for wasting time on nonsense. From that day on, Ms. M stopped micromanaging me. She only gave me instructions via email and avoided making eye contact. My main account? Still thriving. In fact, I gained even more followers thanks to all the promotional posts. My coworkers started calling Ms. M the Queen of Accidental Deletion, and every time her name came up, the whole team burst out laughing. And me? I clapped for OP. You turned your boss's control freak nature into a joke, absolute genius. Do you think this was a legendary act of malicious compliance? Reddit exploded with comments. Team OP cheered, Ms. M deserved that. She tried to control everything, and OP outplayed her brilliantly. Team Ms. M argued, well, OP should have been honest and told her about both accounts. No need to trick her. One commenter joked, next time, OP should delete the company's account too, just to really make a point. I laughed so hard reading this, but I fully support OP. Ms. M, if you don't give clear instructions, that's on you. OP just did exactly what you asked. But here's a theory for you all. Could it be that Ms. M never actually meant for OP to delete their account? Maybe she just wanted to scare OP into submission? Perhaps she assumed OP only had one account and never thought to clarify? Either way, OP played this masterfully, using the boss's vague order to turn the tables completely. But I do wonder, if Ms. M had immediately apologized, would OP have confessed about their real account? Let me add one more fun detail from OP's update. A few weeks later, Ms. M messaged OP, just do your job properly so I don't have to check on you again. OP responded, just be clear with your instructions, and I'll always follow them. OP writes, after that, she stayed silent. My coworkers even said Ms. M was actually afraid of me now. And I thought, Ms. M, fear is a good thing. Maybe next time, you'll think twice before trying to control everything. What do you think? Was OP a genius, or was Ms. M the real victim here? Have you ever pulled off malicious compliance like this? A boss demands an account deletion, only to get played by their own vague wording. Who could have seen that coming? Are you on Team OP or Team Ms. M? Do you have any social media drama to share? Drop it in the comments, I'm dying to hear more. Story 5, Satisfaction, Lazy at Work? I'll do better and make you regret it. Finally, we arrive at our /malicious compliance, a place where someone else's laziness can become a golden opportunity for you to shine. This time, OP shares a workplace drama that had me shouting, see, if you're lazy, deal with it yourself, don't blame others. OP works at an auto repair shop, the kind where the air smells of engine oil, the sound of compressors fills the space, and cars line up waiting to be fixed. OP writes, I've been here for over a year and love my job because I get to repair cars and learn every day. The main character of this drama is C, OP's coworker, whom OP describes as around 30 years old, tall, always wearing a dirty t-shirt, and so lazy I suspect he could sleep standing up. OP explains, C is the type who pushes work onto others, spends all day on his phone, and only moves when the boss is watching. OP just wanted work to go smoothly, but C's laziness paved the way for a malicious compliance move that had me both laughing and admiring OP's strategy. This is a story of cars and sweet revenge, are you ready? Buckle up, because C is about to suffer the consequences of his own laziness. OP recalls, I was replacing the tires on an SUV when I noticed C lounging in a chair, scrolling on his phone. Meanwhile, a Honda had been waiting for brake repairs for over an hour. OP asked, C, have you fixed that car yet? C shrugged, you do it. I'm tired. OP writes, I was annoyed, but I did it anyway, finished the brake job in 30 minutes, and the customer praised me, wow, that was fast. The next day, C pushed another job onto OP, OP, check this car out for me. I don't know much about it. OP completed the repair, and the customer left a $20 tip. OP thought, fine, if he's lazy, I'll just do the work. I was laughing, thinking, C, if you're too lazy to work, you deserve to lose money. OP shares, a week later, a regular customer, Mr. T, brought his car in and said, "I want C to fix it, he did a great job last time." But C pushed it onto me again, "You do it. I'm busy." OP handled the repair, changed the oil, checked the brakes, and even washed the car for free. OP writes, "Mr. T was thrilled, tipped me $50, and even told the boss, this guy is really skilled." C overheard this and snapped, "You stole my customer." OP just shrugged, "You told me to do it, so I did." The boss started noticing, "OP, you're doing great." Meanwhile, I was laughing, "C, if you're lazy, don't be surprised when customers go elsewhere." OP writes, "From that moment on, every time C pushed a job onto me, I did it, but I did it 100 times better than he ever could." Engine trouble? I fixed it in 2 hours, and the customer tipped me $30. Flat tire? I changed it quickly, and the customer left a great online review for the shop. OP continues, "Regular customers started requesting me specifically, while C sat around all day, looking furious. One day, C snapped, 'Stop taking all the work. Let me do something.' OP replied, 'You told me to do the jobs, and now that I'm good at it, you want them back? Then take them yourself.' The boss overheard and called C into the office, 'Why aren't you working while OP is handling everything?' C stammered, I was tired." I was cheering, "OP, you turned C's laziness into your advantage, genius move." OP writes, "The boss reassigned me to the morning shift, the busiest one, while C got pushed to the night shift, which had fewer customers and fewer tips." OP continues, "I got a raise for being hardworking, while C complained, 'You ruined me.' I just laughed, 'You were lazy, I worked hard, how did I ruin you?' Regular customers now only ask for OP, while C has earned the shop's unofficial title of legendary slacker. Every time someone brings it up, the whole team bursts into laughter. I applauded, "OP, you didn't just outperform the lazy guy, you won without even trying to fight." Team OP, C got what he deserved. If you're lazy, you lose out, OP played this perfectly. Team C, maybe OP should have split the work instead of taking all the customers. Jokers, next step, OP should open his own shop and let C sit around doing nothing there too. I was cracking up but firmly on OP's side. C, laziness has consequences, OP just did the work better. Did C underestimate OP's skills? Maybe he thought OP would be just as lazy as he was and never expected him to actually thrive. Or perhaps C had been coasting for so long that he didn't realize his laziness would push him out of the spotlight. Either way, OP handled this brilliantly, turning someone else's laziness into a golden opportunity. But I also wonder, if C apologized and tried to change, would OP have helped him out? Here's an update from OP. A few months later, C messaged me, "Stop working so much, I have no jobs left." OP replied, "Then do your own work, I'm not stealing anything." OP adds, "C went silent. He's still on the night shift and still lazy. The boss is considering firing him." I just thought, C, if you keep being lazy, you'll lose everything, don't blame OP. Was OP a genius, or was C just unlucky? Have you ever outshined a lazy coworker like this? That's it, OP's story was a masterclass in malicious compliance that had me both cheering and laughing. A lazy coworker tried to push work away, but in the end, he only pushed himself into irrelevance. Whose side are you on, OP or C? Have a workplace drama of your own? Drop it in the comments, I'm curious. That's the last of the 5 stories, thanks for reading, and see you next time. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. If you've already hit the like button, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so to make sure you don't miss out on more crazy stories. If you missed the last episode on the channel, it was all about malicious compliance, where some bad bosses got completely wrecked. Be sure to check it out if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next episode. We love you all.